there's so many people who are excited about the introduction of the Nutriselics product. We started it all off with the report. It's going to be $2.99 when it comes live on the 1st, but right now, 60% off. That's because we wanted everyone who's already in the system to be able to jump in and hit the ground running when the Nutriselics weight management customized products come live in early December. This is pretty exciting stuff. People have been waiting a long, long time. And then, we talked about Dallas. I will shush mostly and start talking to my good friend, Dr. Jen Myers. Dr. Jen, welcome on today.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you all had a fabulous Thanksgiving holiday and remembered what we are to be grateful for as well.
Absolutely. Mine was great. How was yours, Jen?
It was good. I cooked for 24 hours straight and it was demolished in 5 minutes. So it was 5 hours of cleaning. So that was, typical Thanksgiving. No, it was fabulous. So of course.
Oh, that's great. Great. I'm glad it went really, really well. I mean, it's so much work, but it's always great to get the family together. We had a small one this year. We usually have like 15 people there. And this time it was just 5 of us. But that's our COVID year, I guess. But at the end of the day, it was a lovely day and everyone really enjoyed themselves. Hopefully your family did too. Sounds like it was great. I want to go. If you're going to cook 24 hours, I'm flying to St. George next time. We will be there.
Yeah. So always a production with always.
Yeah. So we have talked about Nutriselics and the product very generically a few times. And a lot of people have told me, I still don't understand it. And I'm like, good, because we're going to keep talking to you about it for months. And today is just one more introduction to the product, letting people get some of the specifics. I don't know if you saw, I emailed over to you my details. I don't know if you have time to talk about them at all yet today. We can talk about them in another call or something. But I think a lot of people just are interested in, hey, what happens in this 38-page report that I get? Is it different than my normal report that I got when I joined the company? What are some of the big things that they should expect to take away when they, lay down their $125 and get this report on the current special offer?
It's only $125. That's amazing.
It's $2.99 after the end of the month, because that's the price going forward for both. Because I don't know if we haven't talked about it, but if you are coming in from Nutriselics and you want your wellness report, that's going to be $2.99. We're setting the price on these in a way that makes the real value true, because frankly, these reports are super valuable for people. It costs a lot for us to maintain them. You keep working on the science and tweaking stuff behind the scenes. These are not free. These are real high value reports. And we're excited to be able to offer it for this very short time. It's only through Monday. Then the price is up, $2.99 if you haven't bought it by then.
And this is wonderful, because really if you come into my office and see me or any kind of nutrigenetically based provider, right, where they're going to pull your genetics and they're going to evaluate certain things like weight and like overall health and wellness, it's going to cost a small, tiny fortune. So it is nice to have at least, I'm dumping my brain. I'm constantly looking into the research with this. Weight loss, a lot of providers kind of steer away from just because there's a lot of intricate and detail and pathway that belongs to why somebody has an issue with being able to maintain a healthy weight for themselves. So the fact that we get to do this here and we get to do this as specifically and as precise as we get to is incredible. So when you get this report, and this is what, there was a lot of research and time and brain power that went into this and is still going into this constantly. As you guys know, I am always looking out for your best interests, not only with the reporting, but also making sure that the science is always up to date and up to speed with what we are trying to bring. Looking at some of the things that we get to look at. I'm just going to run through some of the pathways real quick. I don't want to spend too much time. I think we're really always going to try to hone in and focus. But the goal of this particular report, just so you all have an idea of why it's important, is people do struggle. We know that. People struggle with maintaining, people struggle with the ability to be able to lose weight and keep it off without having these yo-yo diets and going back and forth in the gym and doing all these different things to try to maintain a healthy weight for them and to do it in a healthy and sustainable way. That's what's important. Not to be able to drop 100 pounds in a month and then expect us to be able to maintain that kind of weight loss and weight management. We want to do this to where people are going to understand that this is why my body may struggle. And that's, unfortunately, that's just what some people are experiencing. So if we can understand that, and Kevin, I had a wonderful conversation with your lovely wife about it and few things, and was able to open her eyes as to why she struggles, not necessarily with weight per se, but a few things that I was able to point out to her that she's never been told before in her life. And this is family history that's been going on with brothers and nephews and all kind of people in her life. So it's just amazing that we can look into it and go through it with a fine tooth comb. So some of the pathways that we're looking at is dopamine. So dopamine has, what it does is it changes the ability for the brain to understand that it's not hungry anymore, right? And that we need to, okay, we're satisfied, we have satiety, meaning we're not hungry anymore. And then we're able to not sit there and constantly crave food or feel like we have to snack, those grazers. You know, everybody's like, oh, I'm a grazer. Some people think that boosts metabolism, and it may in some people, but not in others. It also helps us with carbohydrate cravings as well. Some people may, excuse me, sorry guys. Some people may crave carbs other than others. I don't crave carbs. I'm not one of those people, but there might be some people who do, and understanding that helps us support it a little bit better. Things like leptin, right? So we're looking at that leptin-ghrelin relationship, right? So ghrelin, as I've been telling you guys, means you're hungry. Leptin means you're full. There are people who have issues with these chemical signals to be able to tell the body that we're full and have this feeling of full. So they're constantly feeling like, again, they need to graze and they need to eat. Insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Some people struggle with the ability, and they have the inability to be able to utilize insulin properly to put it as energy so we can burn, and we can burn fat, we can burn carbohydrates, and we can burn sugars. This is just the coolest stuff ever, guys, I'm telling you. Pre-diabetes, right? We're looking at that. Are you predisposed to not being able to fully utilize glucose in a healthy way, and therefore you're putting sugar or glucose into the cell and storing it, which makes it difficult to lose weight when we have high insulin levels or insulin or glucose sensitivities or resistance, right? Some other things that we're looking at is, again, just being able to tell the body that we're full. Metabolism or metabolic syndrome. Okay, so things with heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, looking at those as well to see who's possibly predisposed to these things, and how do we support them. BMI, people who have just a natural or genetic predisposition to having higher BMI levels. And THFR, we all love that gene, and I will behave this morning and not say what I always say about it, but the MTHFR gene is, oh my gosh, it's a precursor for so many different metabolic reactions in our body. It does so many things, like putting energy into a cell that prefaces our metabolic or metabolism, right? So it does so many different things. So of course we had to add it in here, as we know methylation has a big contributing factor to detox, to RNA and DNA repair, to our immune system, to how our body and metabolism works. Like I said, it's your gasoline. This is what's putting energy into our cells. Caffeine metabolism, right? So how do we process or utilize caffeine? That's something else that we want to put into this, because caffeine in the right natural forms, in the right amount, is really good for the brain, is really good for the metabolism as well. And also we want to make sure that the other flip side of that, right? You've got your excitatory neurotransmitters. We want to make sure that your inhibitory neurotransmitters neurotransmitters are working at the right time. So AM stuff has excitatory additives in the right amount, of course, nothing that's going to make us jittery or shaky. And then our PM comes in and helps with the inhibitory, or helps bring GABA to where it's supposed to be. So the body and the lymphatic system, right, which is the brain removing waste, can do what it's supposed to do and supports that sleep-wake cycle. Kevin, I could go on forever.
I know
about this, you know that.
I know you can. That's the cool thing. Yeah, but I look at the reports, and I mean, like, for instance, and I'm just going to go product by product real quick, and let's give everyone just a few minutes on each one. When you start off, everyone, if you have not swabbed before, you'll swab and you'll get this report. And then you'll start to get your first product, which will be something called Core. And we give a full detailed description in the report of Core, and it gets you started. And it has an AM and PM component. Jen, can you talk to them just a bit about why Core is important and the AM PM component? And then we'll move to the Prime a little bit more.
Absolutely. So Core is important because what we're doing in here is we're actually then going through and, oh, thank you, Craig. That's awesome. Going through and supporting AM, like I was saying, when we want the body and the brain to wake up and the metabolism, we want thyroid support, right? So we use things like selenium. We want GI support. So we're utilizing particular enzymes and probiotics to support the GI system, right? We want brain awakeness. We want glutamate to be heightened, which is our excitatory neurotransmitter. So we're supporting that.
So we get those in the morning?
Yes. Yes, right.
Okay.
And this is what I love about this, is the body needs different things, AM and PM, right? Especially when it comes to maintaining and supporting that circadian rhythm, which is what we are supporting with Nutrisilix, which helps our body through that sleep-wake cycle and what it's supposed to do biochemically, both AM and PM. So then in our PM dosage, we're supporting the inhibitory, right? The things that bring down the central nervous system. You ever lay there and like, gosh, I can't fall asleep because my brain is just constantly won't shut off, right? So this is what we need to help support it, because this lymphatic system that I brought up is the one that takes the trash out of the cells at night. And if we don't sleep well and our body doesn't shut down, we store, and that becomes an issue with weight. Also, what I love about this is that we're utilizing things that help the body not crave carbs and sugars at night. Because I know, I used to be guilty of this, and I'm getting better, but at nighttime when you're sitting there and you're watching TV and you're relaxing and you're bringing down from the day and you're just like, man, I could go for some sugar right about now. So we want the body and the brain to be able to understand that you really don't need that, right? At night, we just crave that. So this is going to help support those carbohydrates and those sugar cravings at nighttime too, using things like gymnema and chromium. We are using some amazing herbs and essential vitamins and minerals to help support the body so it can more effectively lose weight, especially on those particular pathways.
Awesome. And so it's I love the fact that way it's broken up. What time would you take it? I'm assuming you would take AM when you wake up. What time would you suggest people take the PM because of those cravings and the things that we're trying to address with the formulation?
Oh, absolutely. So I would probably take those before dinner, to be honest with you, or right around dinner time, because typically you say most people, obviously it differs with people's schedules, and I understand that. And you've got a graveyard shift, we will have to switch those. So keep that in mind as well. But so with the PM dosage, I would say right around dinner time, which is about anywhere between 5 to 8 p.m. Some people are a little earlier or later. I hope not earlier. But especially because we're also trying to tie an intermittent fasting component into this, right? So no more than a 12-hour eating window. We want to be positive. We want to talk about when we can eat, not when we can't. Nobody wants to talk about when we can't do things, right? So probably right around dinner time, just to help the body then, eat dinner, eat a sensible, healthy dinner, of course, and then cut out those cravings at about 9 or 10 o'clock when we start to get those.
That helps a lot. That helps a lot, because I would have been thinking take it just before bed. And these are capsules, just like same kind of formulation as with nutrition, if people are familiar with that, or it's more comparable really to pre-trition. The next product, once you get your tests and your report back, you can start ordering Prime, which is here. This is my formulation, and I know I got it. And just to keep things straight for myself, it says it in small print, but I marked them for AM and PM. They have different stuff in them. I mean, you look at them and it's not like, hey, this is like my personalized DNA version of core plus. That's why it's called prime. So I noticed I have stuff in here to like the magnesium I've got. It's all added at night. I've also got something called testofen in here. What is that? And yeah.
So discovered this ingredient when when we were able to go to these amazing events in Vegas. They have a big convention where they have all these natural ingredients and companies and vendors that bring in. So this product wowed me. This ingredient really got my attention. The studies and the clinical data and research behind it are amazing. So what it's doing, it's for men, of course, testofen. Women can take it as well, as it helps balance natural testosterone levels. But we particularly in this product want to help support men with this. So what it does is it doesn't necessarily drive up, although they have clinical data showing that it does drive up those natural testosterone levels. For me, what it does is help boost how our body naturally creates testosterone, if that makes sense. So it's mainly free testosterone, which is what's left over after our body uses what it needs. And we like having free or available testosterone and things, hormones in our body, right? So it's been known to help support vitality. It's been known to help support libido, which we're going to throw that in there. Why not? Muscle mass, helps support lean muscle mass, of course, healthy energy levels, and reduces those symptoms of andropause in men over the age of 40. This is all off clinical data and research. This is not my opinion. And this is from the vendor themselves, who have promoted or started this research on humans, of course, as well. So back in, I think, 2010, they started doing research on this product. But androgen, right, we don't want, or andropause is kind of like menopause for women, but for men. And I don't think that too many men over the age of 40 want to start going through menopause. So this is what it's doing, is it's helping support those levels as well. So it's a great ingredient. I love the clinical data and research that comes behind it, and I'm super excited.
So these things that help with, you know, like testosterone, what's in there for females in the product formulation?
We have to support the women, right? And if it were up to me, we would have a lot more support, but we have to be cautious, of course, because we're not checking lab values for hormonal support, and we have to be cautious. But we are using a product called DIM, which is from cruciferous vegetables, so your broccolis and cauliflowers and things like that, to help support. What it does is it helps support healthy estrogen levels. So it doesn't make them go up, it doesn't make them go down, it balances them out. And if there's any excess estrogen or toxic Zen estrogens, as we call them, then it helps pull those out of the body a little bit too. So we're helping support, because an increased amount of estrogen in women is stored in fat cells. It's hard to lose weight when we have excess estrogen as women in our cells. So this is going to help take that out. With men, it's hard to lose weight when they have a decreased amount of testosterone, right? So it's creating a little bit of balance where we can without checking the blood work and such. But to add that component in was probably one of my favorite parts of this product.
Very cool, very cool. And I'm looking at the slide here from Craig, and it's, you know, like all the products, it's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's soy-free, but you do have to have swabbed first before you can get the prime AM or PM. We've got a lot of questions in the chat room, so we'll go to those after we're done. The next thing we're going to hit, though, is the Fit Shake. You know, and this is a great supplement. It's about 120 calories. I wouldn't say it's a full meal replacement. I've tried it. I've done it more with almond milk, because I find that it's more filling, and it gets me, you know, closer to that 200 calorie range. So I feel like it's more of a meal replacement. But can you talk about some of the components in that and why it's a nice thing to be adding in to the mix?
So some of the things, and I like the idea of almond milk. I think that's a great idea, but I also like the idea of using coconut milk, right? So those added fats will help burn fat as well, and also feed the brain. We want to feed the brain healthy fats. It's good for the brain. It's good for keeping us in kind of that ketosis-ish mode, right? Where we're constantly burning fat, which we want. Fit has some really neat components in it as well. I saw that, Craig, coconut milk. That's my favorite, guys. So it does use a few different combinations right now. Craig, I know that, Craig Goldberg, I know this is a question of yours, and I actually, let me just, hang on one second. Let me show you something. Sorry, guys. I just want Craig to see this. Do you see this, Craig? Do you see what I have formulated just for you? I don't know when it's going to be available, but I am working on it, I promise. So yes, I love you too.
We're actually with the formulation team when we're out in Dallas working on specifically this.
And I'm tasting just for you, Craig, and all of your wonderful people. So don't please, you know that.
Just want to make sure everyone knows. Craig's asking about whether or not it's vegan, and it's not, the shake, but everything else is. The surge, which we're going to get to in a second, and the core, and you know, it's got a lot of great whey protein and stuff in it for people who aren't vegan, they're just going to like it. But for a lot of people, they are vegan, and we need to take care of them. So we're going to be looking at that formulation, and as you know, we've been working on it now for over a month. We want it to not only taste good, but be every bit as efficacious as the Fit shake.
Yes, and it takes time. Formulations take time. There is a reason why there are things in each individual product, as you know. I'm not just like, oh, just throw this in there, throw that in there, or whatever the case may be. You know that I'm always out for everybody's best interest. But in the current Fit, be patient with us. It's right here. I'll taste it and let you know what I think. Be patient with us, but it's coming. In this current Fit, we are using a combination of almond protein. We are using a whey isolate, right, which is easier to digest. We don't want anything that's going to have this long molecule that the body can't break down and utilize. We're utilizing enzymes in there to help the body break these things down as well. And we're using collagen. There's collagen in this product as well, which we know is great for the hair, the skin, the muscles, the tissues, the gut, the GI. We're using things like probiotics, and again, like I said, enzymes. Things are good for GI as well. So there's a lot of really neat components within this shake. And this is what we're calling kind of your afternoon. So that 12-hour intermittent fasting eating window, we want typically that skips breakfast, right? Or pushes us into a little bit later. I'm a little more aggressive. I like a shorter eating window personally, and that has to work with whatever works best for you, your lifestyle, and your schedule. But we want at least a minimum of just a 12-hour eating window, if not even smaller. Mine's 8 hours. That's pretty, I'm sorry, 6 hours. That's pretty aggressive, but if we can go down and it works for us, then great.
Mine's 8 hours.
Breakfast, this is more of your lunch.
No, I think, mine
I like 6 hours, 2 to 8.
9 to 1, and I find it works pretty well. I can live with that.
It has to work for everybody's individual lifestyle, and it's got to be sustainable. I mean, it has to. But what we recommend 12 hours. This is your lunch. This is what we're saying you bring to the office with you. You have your coconut milk, you shake it up, or if you have a blender, great. You can utilize your blender, add some ice, it thickens it up a little bit and makes it pretty tasty. So yeah, I think that this is going to be it's just another component to this amazing product lineup that's going to help people sustain a healthy weight management.
Absolutely. And the other product in here is Surge. And it's a stick pack, easy to share. I think it's great for pre and post workout. That's how I like it most. And it gives you a little bit of an energy boost. It also has AC11 in it, and I know we love that product. But can you talk just a bit about Surge, and then let's try to talk about how these two things fit together, our nutrition and the prime and that whole formulation, if you could.
So we're using Surge, which is great. Yes, pre-workout, post-workout. We know that we want to put energy into the cells, energy into the muscles. There's amino acids in here which feed the muscles directly, which is great. We want that for pre-workout to help get the most strength out of our muscles to create that lean muscle mass, and also for post exercise as well for recovery. We don't want prolonged recovery while we're trying to, nobody wants to be sore for 3 or 4 days. That's crazy. So we're utilizing certain amino acids to help with that as well. We're also using a really great ATP, right? We want to stimulate, guess what? We're going to talk about mitochondria. We want to stimulate ATP and mitochondria, which is the powerhouses of all of our cells. It's hard to be a powerhouse when we aren't feeding our mitochondria what they need. Before and after exercise, feeding mitochondria appropriately is, yeah, I sure did. That's my favorite. Feeding mitochondria appropriately is really important with muscle strength and recovery, and our cells as well. So there's a lot that really goes into this product, into the thought and consideration of how to make this a great product for athletes and non-athletes as well. And I'm sorry, Kevin, I get so pumped up on mitochondria, I forgot the second part of the question.
No, it's great. I mean, the next slide, I think, is the one where we show the kind of the whole family of products. And, you know, there's a question out there, can you buy the whole pack? You can. What we're doing right now is we're introducing them one by one, just so that we can draw attention to them. So I saw Gina McLean ask that in the Q&A section. It's really cool. It's really cool. What we'd like to do now, though, is if we could, I'd like to just take the slide down and let's just talk for a minute about the fact that we've got a lot of questions here, and the questions are good because people are interested in this. They want to know. So we're thrilled about that. But a lot of people have asked me specifically, hey, do I take Prime and nutrition? The way I've tended to look at it is I swab and I choose, do I need to lose some weight right now? Am I concerned about weight management, or am I more concerned about my overall nutrition? And if I choose a path left or right, I mean, if I'm on nutrition, I can still do a diet. But if I want help from my DNA on the dietary program, then I choose the Prime product. And it's one or the other. We are not recommending you do both at the same time. Could you speak to why that is?
Well, yes, right. So we don't want to, and this is the part that you guys, I really hope that we're not just a vitamin and mineral company. We're not just trying to put vitamins in, and I've formulated for a lot of different companies before. I choose very particularly who, because there's so many companies that just want to make a vitamin or mineral or a supplement or whatever the case may be and put it on the market to sell it. We are not doing that. We could say, yes, oh yes, get both, take both. But we could also, that's in my opinion, and what I see clinically is we could what we call over-methylate somebody, putting too much energy, too many nutrients into a cell, and it doesn't know what to do, and it becomes a little confused. And then we have what we call zombie cells. They don't function properly, right? So we don't want that. We want to make sure that the right amount goes into the body and into the cell at the right time for the right individual at the right dose, right? That's what we're doing here. So that way we can support you overall and not flood your system with too much. We can make somebody feel worse if we put too much. So if you're taking both, you might not feel so great, and I would absolutely not recommend that. So it's all about timing, dosage, person, and their biochemical reactions, pathways, or their DNA.
That's pretty cool. And so one of the things I'm doing, I know I'm on nutrition for the month of December. I'm going to cycle over to Prime and just see how it goes. And then, you know, I'm going to use it to where I'm going to go from one to the other a little bit, just to kind of keep my weight managed better through the holiday season. I think it might be a nice thing for me to try, and then roll from there. And probably go right back to nutrition, just because I love the product so much and I love the way I feel. But how would you see it working? Do you see it working in syncopation like that for people, or do you see it as something where they need to choose a path and stay there forever?
No, I think I don't see why people can't go back and forth between, you know, and decide where they're at. And it's not just for somebody, and that's why it's a weight management system as well. So it's going to support people who need to gain weight as well. And what it's going to do is just going to level off. Again, we have to remember what we're doing here isn't adding to or taking away. We're balancing the body, right? And balancing how our biochemical reactions and pathways work. So yes, people who need to lose weight are going to lose weight more efficiently. People who need to gain weight can also have help and support with that. It hasn't been studied yet, guys, though, so don't take that to the bank with me on the weight gaining part. I always have to be cautious, because Dr. Jen said. So I don't ever want to lead anybody the wrong way, but it's all about adaptogenics, right? So adaptogenics that are going to help balance the body in a healthy way. But yes, you can absolutely float between the two. If you're just feeling good and you want your nutrition, then utilize that. If it's the holidays and you're like, I'm going to eat all the cookies, then bounce back between nutricilics and help the body speed up metabolism and break down sugars and insulin and things like that more efficiently. So you can choose, you can always choose and go back and forth, which is fabulous. I just wouldn't recommend, like we just said, at the same time.
Great. Okay. Well, I have we'll just hit a few of the questions. Maureen Momo for Leahy says that it can be a challenge for someone to understand why they need to choose weight management versus wellness. It's not versus, there is, wellness and weight management do go together. And that's why there's so many great things in the weight management product as well. It's just things to help with satiety. You'll fix my
or satiety, sorry.
How would a person decide if they're not clinical or have education to help their customers choose? What would you say I always thought it was just personal, but I think there may be you may have a little bit more insight into that.
So I think it's sustainability, lifestyle. I think we have to look into that. And that's the beauty of understanding not only our DNA, but also individuals and being more precise. So if somebody feels that they can sustain or want to sustain a healthier weight management, it's not about choosing. You can go back and forth between the two, but you have to remember that it has to be sustainable. If it's not sustainable, people are not going to comply and they're not going to follow through. So if they're like, gosh, I don't know if I could do the core and the prime and the fit, and that's overwhelming for me, then support your body with nutrition, because you're still going to get the proper nutrients for your body to thrive the way that it's supposed to, right? So, but if you're like, no, I can do that, I can incorporate all that, and I want to try it, and I want to have a healthy weight management, and I want to help support my sleep-wake cycle, then I would go with Nutricilics. And of course, you can go back and forth, but to me, it's about sustainability. And about making sure that it's something that you're able to do, you're able to be compliant with.
I love it. We're getting some questions from some others here too. Home means Nevada. I'm not sure who that is, but just a very good question. Can you add in like fit or surge to your shake or to your process, and does that affect your monthly shipments? It doesn't, but let's say that you've been on the Euphoria nutrition product for 4 or 5 months, and let's say you're a little bit behind in taking your capsules. You could switch to a fit surge order and keep your activity level at 100 points, which is a big thing for a lot of people. So it gives you some options that have never been there before at Euphoria Science. And that's one of the key things that we really like. You have the shield, you have the serum, and now you have some additional supplementation or meal replacements. It does have AC11. Other questions? Do you see any on here that we haven't answered yet?
You can, Angela, you can use the shakes and keep taking your nutrition at the same time. Absolutely. So if you want to take, I just want surge for pre and post workout, just a little bit of a bump, go right ahead. If you want to just take the fit shake, just to have something as a lunchtime meal replacement or a snack, go right ahead. You absolutely can support. So there's the fine of the, and I know that can be confusing. We can intermingle with certain products like fit and surge, but we don't want to do prime and nutrition at the same time. So,
yeah. And one person said my daughter needs gluten-free. All the products are gluten-free. That's just a standard we have. The Craig's posted that he loves the rich dark chocolate because we got samples out to the team, and he's been able to try that.
In fact, let me just tell you this much about the gluten-free stuff, and this is how much we take into consideration, you guys. we found a great barley protein that I was super excited about, and they were saying it was gluten-free, and we came and find out that it was not, so we X'd it. It's out. So we're always trying to make sure that we're finding the newest, latest, and greatest, of course, but also that we're maintaining our claims and maintaining the fact that we want to keep gluten out of our products.
Absolutely. It's really cool, the things that we've learned on this journey. But sometimes we've had a few surprises like that. We thought we had the shake. We thought we nailed it. It tasted great. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, it's got gluten. So we're off back to the drawing board. And that's what we're working on now. So love the work you're doing on that. Love it. Love it. Looking for other questions that we may have missed. I think we've hit a lot of them. I know for sure we're going to keep training on this and keep bringing it back to individuals. I would like everyone just to know that if you're happy with your nutrition and you're in good shape and you're not trying to lose weight, just stay the course. You've already got great products. You might mix a surge in, you might use the meal replacement. There's so many things that you can do, and it gives you some options. If you have someone who was a client before, anyone who's ordered from us since June 1st, we have already loaded the DNA markers into the system for them. It's taken us several months. The only group that we haven't been able to do that for so far is the group in Australia, and we're working on that. If they tested before, let's say, and haven't ordered for a long time, some people may have to swab again. What I'm telling you is this: we're going to handle the swabbing cost if you have to re-swab. If we don't have the DNA markers for you and you're already a registered person who's paid for a swab once, we're just going to take care of it, because we want you to have the availability of the report, and we want you to have the availability of the prime product. So, even if you're one of the people who tested when we were first open and you said, hey, I understand that I might need to re-swab. Yeah, you will, but we're not going to send you another bill for $99. We're honoring what we've done before, and that is that we're going to take care of you when you order one of these products. If you need to swab, we're going to take care of that for you at no cost. The other piece is, I don't think very many people are going to have to swab, because we've loaded so many people's DNA details in this so they can get this report quickly and they can get what they need in their prime. Nutrition is DNA specific, and the prime product is DNA specific. Everything else is part of the ecosystem. It works together. They're all taken into account when we put those products in to the mix. You can explain how that works if you want to, Jen, but I think that's the key piece.
The DNA component, Alyssa, as you know, is always taken into consideration with any product that we do, of course. We don't want to put something in there that could possibly be bad for somebody with particular genes. So it's really, really intricate process when we're formulating. There are 33 genes that we are looking at specifically, Randy, for the weight management Nutricelix. Just to be.
It's nice how many extra genes were identified for this. It's just amazing, the report. I think it's really well written.
Awesome, I like that.
I'm super proud of the report you guys have come up with. This is great. People are going to love it. All right. Well, Jen, I want to thank you for jumping on here today. We've gone 50 minutes. We're usually a lot quicker than that, but we had so much to share. I'm looking forward to spending time with you in Dallas this week, when we can spend some time with Joe and the formulation group, and then also an evening with our field leaders and our people around. So it is really, really cool that we're going to be able to get together, get a little work done, have a little fun, meet some people, and then hopefully we're going to have, well, I'll say hopefully because it hasn't happened yet, but it is going to happen. We're going to have even more nutritionists and ambassadors, that was what they were called at Nutricelix, on the team by the time we get to the end of the day on December 3rd. Looking forward to the meeting that's coming up in California. I'll be out there for sure. Really looking forward to it. And I think the next day I'm in Miami for some work. So there's lots going on, you guys. Stay on it. Keep going. You know we love you. And I hope that you have learned a lot today and feel like you're even better equipped to talk about Nutricelix product line within Euphoria Science. The company says Euphoria. We just have a new product line. One last thing I think was asked was, when will they be available? They are going to be available next week in the back office at full price. So anything you can get at discount right now, jump on it. Craig, back to you.